I don't even know how to begin this episode, to be honest with you. I really don't. You know, I'm not going to sit here and sob over the fact of the news that broke last night. I'm not going to come on here and give you, Roddy Piper's career history and timeline. I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to tell you guys is that when things like this happen, it really makes you think and wonder, what the fuck is going on in today's world, man? I really don't know. Now, Piper was only 61 years old. 61 years old, man. That's young. That is young. Piper was one of the absolute best at what he did. And you can say this about everybody that passes away. I'm sure it's been said. But when guys like Dusty and Roddy and the Warrior and Macho Man and Mr. Perfect, Eddie Guerrero, when guys like that leave this life at such an early age, it rings true, man. The statement is, you're never going to find anyone like those guys. Never. Piper was the ultimate fucking villain. Piper was the ultimate fucking badass. Piper was the ultimate man on the microphone, man. That if you wanted someone who just fucking wanted to lay it all out on the line for you and just fucking get in your face and tell you that he's gonna fucking come and he's gonna fight and he's not gonna do anything until the fucking match is done and you're down on the fucking mat beaten with your ass kicked. That's Piper. That was Piper. I'll never forget the match he had with Bret Hart at WrestleMania 8. Never. I'll never forget the feeling that we all got when we watched that match. When Piper wanted to use the sleaziest, slimiest heel tactics to try and win that match and the Intercontinental Championship. Nobody will ever forget that, man. Nobody. And the fact that Bret Hart and Roddy Piper shook hands at the end of that match, that is a memory that none of us will ever forget, man. None of us. Coincidentally, on that same pay-per-view was Macho Man, who won the WWF Championship against Ric Flair. It was supposed to be Hulk Hogan, but due to internal politics, that did not happen. I'll never forget the moment where Ric Flair was in the 1992 Royal Rumble, which he eventually went on to go win. I'll never forget in the middle of that Royal Rumble when Ric Flair was sitting all by himself. And he was pulling up his tights, trying to fucking grasp every last breath that he could. That countdown was going. 3, 2, 1, 0. Out came Hot Rod, running to the ring in his blue tights, man. And he was fucking just leveling Ric Flair, man. Leveling Ric Flair. Earlier in the night, he retained the I believe he retained the Intercontinental Championship. Or I think he won it. One of you guys correct me, but I know he fought the Mountie. I know he fought the Mountie. I don't know if he went into that match the challenger or if he was the champion and retained. I'm not completely sure on that. Never said I had the greatest memory, but I know my fucking WWF, okay? Piper comes down the ring and Bobby Heenan's going crazy. Of all the people, not Piper. Not Piper. Unbelievable moment, man. My favorite Royal Rumble of all time. The match itself. My favorite Royal Rumble ending was when Undertaker and Shawn Michaels were the last two men remaining. I believe that was 2007. 2007. I think it's either 2007 or 2008, man. I'm terrible with fucking years. Just like I am with remembering people's names, man, when I meet them in person. It takes me a while. But you guys know what I'm talking about. You know, everybody goes back to Piper and the coconut and the snooker incident on Piper's Pit. Everybody goes back to Mr. T and, you know, that whole spiel at WrestleMania. Nobody really knew how great Piper was in the role that he played. You know, we tend to forget, man. We take things for granted. You know, when Piper is, you know, on WWE and we see him come out, you know, we realize that these guys are getting older. We're getting older. But nobody realized how great Piper was, even in his older days, man. The man can fucking talk. The man carried himself as if he was still the ultimate badass. Even at fucking 60, bro. Carried himself as if he was still the ultimate badass. You give Piper a microphone, man, and he would fucking just level you with the hammer of truth. He'll just lay it all on the line, man. He'll give you his heart and his soul. And that's what Roddy Piper was, man. A great mind in the business. Someone who a lot of these young guys can look up to and say, you know what? Piper was a huge influence on this industry and this business. I see a lot of Piper in Dean Ambrose. And it just makes you wonder, man. It's scary. You know, we're all getting older. As each day goes by, we're getting older. And it's a damn shame that we lost so many at such a young age, man. Piper. A couple of weeks ago, we lost Dusty Rhodes. We lost Macho Man. Rick Rude. Mr. Perfect. Owen. Pillman. Guerrero. The list goes on and on, man. Just too many to name. And I know Piper was going through some bullshit with Podcast One, man. I just reported that he was just going through some bullshit with Steve Austin, and Steve Austin was upset about it. Everyone's going to be listening to Steve Austin now when the Steve Austin show hits Podcast One next week. It's a scary thought, man, that our childhood is fucking leaving us each and every year one of these guys goes. It's a scary fucking thought, man. Piper was 61 years old. 61 fucking years old, man. That's fucking young. Young. My parents haven't even hit 60 yet, man. My parents are both in their mid-50s. And it's a scary thought to see that our childhood, that we once, you know, our childhood is just leaving us. These are the guys I grew up watching. And everyone fucking every single day just rags on me. A grown man watching professional wrestling, man. These guys gave their lives to entertain us as we were growing up, man. Even now, as young adults, they still entertain us, man. After the fact, after their career is over. And I had every intent to come on here and talk about The Undertaker, possibly coming back at SummerSlam against Brock Lesnar as the American Badass. That's going to be moved back one day and will be Sunday's top story. Because I know you guys are going to want me to talk about Roddy Piper. I didn't talk about Dusty Rhodes because I was a little bit too late to the party. I wasn't a really big Dusty Rhodes fan. I didn't grow up in Dusty Rhodes' era. Okay? Not too familiar with Dusty Rhodes. I was never a big Dusty Rhodes guy. Piper I was. You know? We'll never forget Brett and Piper at WrestleMania 8. We'll never forget how he made us feel in that match. Nobody can forget how Piper made you feel in that match, man. He used the sleaziest, slimiest way to get a win in that match. And at the end of it all, Brett comes out on top. And they embrace in the middle of the ring. On that same card, Macho Man beat Ric Flair for the WWF title at the time. I remember Hot Rod at WrestleMania 12 against Goldust in that backlot brawl, that Hollywood street fight. Those are the things I remember growing up, man. Those are the things you never forget. Pro wrestling has never left my side growing up. I mean, I'm an adult and I love professional wrestling. I'm not afraid to admit that. I know these guys were taking drugs, and I know they were taking painkillers, and I know they did things to their body that a normal human being should not be doing. And I'm sure this all attributed to each and every one of these guys' deaths. But WWE now has policies instituted to the point where these kind of things are checked. They're looked into. And I know a lot of sports athletes take steroids and painkillers just to go out there and continue making their money, to continue putting a smile on the fans' face. For what? Shedding years off their lives, man, for us. And it's a damn shame that Piper had to go, man. 61 years old. I really don't even know what else to say. I still sit here in shock. You guys came to my live stream tonight, and before I even turned it on, JD, Piper's dead. Piper died. 61 years old. We didn't know what from. I'm still in shock, man. I don't know how to take all this in. I love professional wrestling, and like I said, it's a very difficult thought to take in that our childhood is just slowly leaving us, man. The Warrior was a huge fucking blow to everybody. How can one man walk away from the WWE for 17 years, come back to the thing that was the most important to him, forgive Vince McMahon, come out the next night on Monday Night Raw, embrace the fans, and then the very next day, on Tuesday, drop dead? How can we just hear about Roddy Piper 2 weeks ago and now he's not here anymore? Why do these things happen? I can't even take it in, man. I really can't. I really can't take it in. Piper, 61 years old, dead. Just months after his death, or just months after the death of one of WWE's Hall of Famers, Dusty Rhodes, it appears WWE is dealing with the death of another legend. TMZ reported first that Roddy Piper has died at the age of 61. TMZ said in its piece, Piper died as a result of cardiac arrest. A report confirmed by his representative. A portion of the report reads, wrestling legend Rowdy Roddy Piper has died at the age of 61, TMZ Sports has learned. Piper, born Roderick George Toombs, died from cardiac arrest in his sleep at his home in Hollywood around noon on Friday. Piper was a wrestling icon, one of the biggest stars in the WWE back in the 80s, and even wrestled in WrestleMania 1 back in 1985, squaring off against Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. Roddy's rep tells us, and I quote, I am devastated at this news. Rod was a good friend as well as a client and one of the most generous, sincere, and authentic people I have ever known. This is a true loss to us all. Piper was largely known as one of the greatest heels in all of professional wrestling, popular by his ability to talk and his intensity made inside and outside of the ring. His Piper's Pit segments were among the most popular in-ring segments ever produced, often helping propel other stars in the process. His last full involvement with WWE, outside of a few appearances here and there, was as a cast of WWE Legends House, which I watched every episode, and Piper looked fantastic, where he primarily focused on as the main character. As noted by TMZ, Piper struggled with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which put him in poor health at times. However, the indication was he was fully in the clear and was in good health. It was noted recently Piper came to the defense of Hulk Hogan following the leaking of racial slurs he uttered nearly a decade ago. This was the last known public disclosure by Piper, it would appear. If I hear anything else regarding Piper and his passing, I will definitely let you guys know right here on Off the Script. A shocking moment for each and every one of us. And be prepared to shed some tears on Monday Night Raw. Because I know when WWE gets wind of one of their legends, one of their greats, and they have left us, WWE always does a fantastic job at letting us know how important they were to them and to us and to everybody that has watched professional wrestling, man. And I'm tearing up now. It's not I hate hearing this shit, man. I hate reading this shit. And I know I'm going to be watching Monday Night Raw. I'm going to be shedding tears of my own. It's a moment of silence for Hot Rod. I wish his family the best. And as professional wrestling fans, I hate hearing this shit, man. We lost too many of the greats, and it's at such a young age, man. It just sucks. It just sucks, man. I'll be back after this, guys. You guys have been asking for it, man. And finally, I have delivered. Courtesy of ProWrestlingTees.com, you can now own the official WWE Off The Script t-shirt. And to get yours today, all you got to do is simply go to www.ProWrestlingTees.com/offthescript, and you now can represent the #1 fucking source for all WWE right here on YouTube.com. www.ProWrestlingTees.com/WWE Off The Script. And remember, hashtag fuck those other guys, man. All right, guys, welcome back. WWE Off The Script, episode number 76, part number 2. Thank you so much for joining me. Rough weekend, man. Roddy Piper passing away at the age of 61. Like I said, if I have any more news regarding Piper's passing, I will definitely let you guys know right here on Off The Script. Moving on with the news, guys. Lila. Not really a big fan of Lila. I know you guys are tweeting me about this news as well. Lila did an interview with WWE to talk about her career, and she formally announced her retirement from World Wrestling Entertainment and also what the future holds for her. On a hot summer evening in New York City on August 16, 2006, the WWE Universe chose and then promptly welcomed Lila as its newest diva. In the heart of Times Square, the winner of the 2006 WWE Diva Search celebrated what would be the first of countless successes over the course of her 9-year career in WWE. Today, after almost a decade of dazzling WWE fans in every pocket of the globe, the former Divas and Women's Champion announces her retirement from the WWE. Lila noted that she feels like it's time to start the next chapter in her life, and she just got tired of the grueling travel. She's hoping to do stuff in television in the United States or the United Kingdom. She noted that she will be going back to choreographing. For those who don't know, she was a Miami Heat dancer before she started her WWE career. She recently announced her engagement to former WWE star Ricky Ortiz, real name Richard Young. I wish Lila the best in her future endeavors. I thank her for her time in the WWE I was never the biggest Layla fan. I don't think right now Layla was really needed. I know she was out with a few injuries here and there that, took her out of action for close to a year. But I wish Layla the best in her WWE retirement and moving on with her career, man. So everybody thank Layla for what she's done for the WWE. Pretty silly rumor going around, guys. Fred Durst, the lead singer of Limp Bizkit, in an exclusive comment to WrestleRumors.net, one of my favorite sources for WWE news, frontman Fred Durst shoots down rumors about WWE wanting Limp Bizkit to perform at WrestleMania 32. Now, this was going around apparently as a rumor that started on Reddit. Now, anybody with a brain could probably figure this out. Why would WWE, even now, start booking musical acts for WrestleMania? Why would they, out of everybody, choose Limp Bizkit, who's been pretty much out of the spotlight for years? They've been dead. Limp Bizkit is nothing right now. Why would WWE want Limp Bizkit to perform at WrestleMania 32? I don't know. But according to a user on Reddit who began spreading the rumors on July 29th, saying that Durst recently appeared on a Chicago radio station claiming WWE wanted the band to appear at WrestleMania, but he turned down the offer. Durst himself says that he definitely did not appear on any radio station and said that WWE wanted Limp Bizkit to perform at WrestleMania. His response, which contains strong language, was the following. The rumored statement Fred Durst made, which also features strong language, reads, I got kicked out of one of their events last year. I think it was maybe the year before that. All for throwing up a fucking birdie at the camera. I just find the whole corporate aspect of it to be fucking pussified these days. It's obvious why they sank so low in popularity compared to the late 90s and early 2000s. They wanted us to do WrestleMania 32 next year, but fuck that. We want to do New Japan Pro Wrestling. We'd love to head over to Japan. We're still wrestling fans, just not WWE fans. However, the story was obviously being debunked by Durst himself. Someone on Reddit was trying to just have fun with the internet wrestling community amidst The Undertaker's return. WWEshop.com is selling a new Undertaker t-shirt, which has his Biker Taker moniker of Deadman Inc. on it, which has led to speculation that he may return to the bike before retiring, which I will talk about tomorrow on Off The Script. This is an interesting story, which I didn't know whether to laugh at or to just fucking say, fuck you, WWE. Why would anyone think of such a ridiculous storyline and angle? And thank God this didn't happen. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be watching WWE right now. This makes me sick to my stomach, actually. According to the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar's in-ring character was initially pitched to be homosexual by WWE creative members. Yes, I did not stutter when I said that. Brock Lesnar's in-ring career was initially pitched to be homosexual by WWE creative team members. Stephanie McMahon recently claimed that Darren Young, who is homosexual in real life, does not play a gay character on WWE programming. This statement from McMahon prompted Meltzer to investigate the claim that there was to be a scripted homosexual character on WWE programming in 2002. What he found was that this character was supposed to be played by Brock Lesnar. Meltzer writes, in last week's issue regarding the note about debuting a gay character in 2002 who would be a tough guy that would out himself as being gay, do none of the stereotypes, and be portrayed as a kick-ass main eventer. We were told that the idea was for this person to be Lesnar when he made his debut that year. The idea originally came from two of the magazine writers, one of them being Bryan Solomon, who just wrote a book about pro wrestling called Pro Wrestling Facts, which he pitched the idea directly to Stephanie McMahon that year. The pitch was that it would blow away the fan base and everyone would have an unstoppable, hyper-masculine ass kicker revealing himself to be gay and be pushed as a top babyface. The idea was to make sure he never did anything in or out of the ring that would make fans uncomfortable. It would be the anti-gay stereotype instead, and instead it would be the heels that would be using, or the heels that would use his being gay in their promos to get their asses kicked, and making everyone using negative terms as far as being gay come across like heels. The idea was also thinking it would get huge support from the gay community. The problem, of course, is that eventually it would come out Lesnar wasn't gay, so it would only be a character and not an admission the real person was, and get positive support from the media as a progressive character. What's notable is that the people who pitched it first never heard another word about it, and didn't know until the past week that it had gotten into the writer's room, where some of the older agents thought the idea was a terrible one and it was dropped. And eventually that led to Billy and Chuck. As it turned out, the Lesnar character ended up pretty well for itself. Thank fucking Christ. Someone back in creative had a fucking brain and realized that was a fucking terrible idea. Whoever came up with that idea, Bryan Solomon, should fucking be exiled from anything professional wrestling, man. What a fucking asshole. I don't believe it. Can you picture Brock Lesnar now the way he is, being a gay character? Are you fucking serious? Thank God that was fucking scrapped, and thank God somebody back there had a fucking brain. Oh my God, man, I don't believe the things I hear. I don't believe the things I read, but that was one of them. That was one of them. Unfucking believable. Look at this story. In a recent interview to promote his new book, which is now a New York Times bestseller, former WWE World Heavyweight Champion, I wish he was WWE World Heavyweight Champion, former champion Daniel Bryan talks about his backstage fight with Triple H in 2013 and what caused the argument about how Randy Orton reacted to the circumstance and more. As previously reported, Bryan had suffered a stinger during a match with Orton at a time when Bryan's popularity was soaring, heading into SummerSlam 2013. In the middle of the match, Bryan suffered the stinger, leaving his arms useless. Knowing how big the win was going to look on television as the match was happening live on Monday Night Raw in the height of the original Yes movement, Bryan kept wanting to finish the match even without feeling in his arms. Beast. Triple H then stopped the match from the back, causing Bryan to get furious. However, as he says in the following interview, he quickly realized he was in the wrong and Triple H was just looking out for the long-term health of both Bryan and Orton. Bryan says, I had gotten a stinger in the match and lost feelings in both of my arms. I have a mentality of never stopping a match, whether it's really good or really bad. That's just my mentality. I had never had a stinger before. Triple H tells the medical doctor at ringside to stop the match. I sprinted into the ring and tried to keep the match going with Randy Orton because this was going to be the biggest win of my career to that point. I did a top rope dropkick and couldn't get up. I couldn't move my arms. Randy, he's on the ground going, Dan, what the fuck are you doing? When I came backstage, I was hot. I don't want to say we got nose to nose because he's 6'3". We came pretty close. They're more conscious of protecting us from ourselves. Interesting story there, which Bryan goes into more detail about in his book. If you guys want to go purchase his book, I will leave you the link down below to where you can go purchase it on Amazon. Always shop at Amazon, man. My number one fucking place to buy anything, man. They always got everything. But I'll leave you guys the link down below if you guys want to definitely purchase Daniel Bryan's book, which, like I said, is a #1 bestseller. And finally, guys, we're going to end this weekend's part 2 of Off The Script about Lana and WWE changing its plans for Lana. I don't like Lana right now in her current state. I think she was better with Rusev as a powerful manager of powerful, sensational, Sherry-type figure on TV. She doesn't need to be in the ring. She doesn't need to be getting into cat fights. She doesn't need to be faking love angles with Dolph Ziggler. But WWE has changed their plans for Lana and are searching for a strong Latina presence on TV, according to the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. As previously reported, WWE at one point seemingly wanted Lana to be a big star on WWE television, becoming a marketable personality like Sunny and Sable were from 1996 through 1998. Though Sunny and Sable used massive amounts of skin to present themselves as marketable characters in the past, WWE wanted to use girl power to create Lana into a megastar. With WWE being PG rated, the method of making Lana, who isn't an in-ring competitor, into a household name cannot be that of how the company turned Sunny and Sable into the two most searched and downloaded women online in the late 90s. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter claims that WWE has changed their initial plans for Lana, now just keeping her in a managerial role or as an enhancement character instead of a marketable big-time star. The company is reportedly more interested in finding a Latin female that could be a marketable face. He writes, with Lana as the female superstar of the company, direction already seemingly changed, and how now just being another character on the show is for Lana. The idea is to find a Latin female star of the company. They are looking for sex appeal and Spanish-speaking skills for someone who can be in front and center to expanding the Latin audience. Like with Lana, it doesn't have to be a wrestler. There are people who are starting to search for Latin female weather reporters in Mexico who are chosen for looks. The perfect person they are looking for is, unfortunately for them, under contract with Lucha Underground in Melissa Santos, who is easily the best female ring announcer in the wrestling business right now. Well, if Lucha Underground doesn't have a second season, she will be available. So that is with that for Lana. I think Lana was just ruined anyway as soon as they plucked her from Rusev's act. Not going to be the same, and WWE, again, rushing to create stars when they got something good with a tandem like Lana and Rusev, rushing to break people up. Now she's just floating around in a sea of mediocrity in Dolph Ziggler's storylines, a love angle that's not really believable because we all read the dirt sheets. We all know that Lana and Rusev are dating. They own homes. You know, they're a real-life couple. But Lana is not going to be that prototypical Sunny or Sable. You can't do that in the PG era when Sunny and Sable, every time you looked at them, they got this and that hanging out. They were in bikinis and swimsuits, and they were all over WWE TV. They were wearing fucking skin-tight outfits. They were on the cover of WWE magazine posing and barely nothing. Not going to happen in this day and age, man. You're not going to create a superstar with Lana in the PG era using girl power, man. Come on, you gotta come up with something better than that. There's got to be some type of sex appeal there. You can't make it into a Sunny and Sable type thing. I don't know what WWE is going to do, but all I know is that Lana being plucked from Rusev's act is really harming both of them at this point in the game, and hopefully WWE kind of gets them back together at some point in the future because I love the way they interacted with each other. Rusev was a dominant heel. Lana played a very strong managerial role, which you could have built off of just based on what she was doing with Rusev as a heel act. She was a very powerful woman, man. Build her off being beautiful, which we all know she is, but powerful as well. Now, I don't know what they're doing with her. She just seems lost, and I'm just not intrigued and interested in it. But that's what I got on that. Lana right now, plans for Lana are changing, and WWE is looking for more Latin females in the form of weather women down in Mexico to be the up-in-front WWE female star. But that is what I got for Off the Script, guys. Thank you so much for watching episode number 76, part number 2. I will be back with more news about The Undertaker possibly coming back to SummerSlam as the American Badass. I got news on Daniel Bryan and what WWE plans to do with Daniel Bryan. Do they have any plans at all for the yes man of the WWE? Find out tomorrow on Off the Script. Like I said, thank you guys for watching, man. This is the #1 source for all WWE right here on YouTube.com. Please, like Roddy Piper used to do, man, with that fucking beautiful sleeper hold. I want you to put that subscribe button in the sleeper hold, man, and subscribe right here for JD, who delivers the WWE news and rumors to you like no one else right here on YouTube.com. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. Please visit my friends at WrestleCrate, www.wrestlecrate.com. You guys want pro wrestling monthly base subscription, man. It's the #1 fucking service if you guys are fans of professional wrestling, man. Pro wrestling tees, barbershop window t-shirts, WWE Mattel Elite action figures, Funko Pop, Fathead, comic books, Ring of Honor, WWE TNA merchandise. Absolutely a fucking steal, man. www.wrestlecrate.com. Go check those guys out and go support. Absolutely great product. I want to thank Mr. Edward Allen as well for all his continued hard work and his support of the show. And if you guys don't own my shirt, www.prowrestlingtees.com/WWE Off The Script. I'm JD. Again, a moment of silence for Mr. Roddy Piper. He will be missed. Hot Rod, I love you, bro. Thank you for everything. This is JD. I'll see you guys on Sunday.